All right, everyone, welcome back for the final week of the regular season. I can't believe I can't believe it's here. It almost feels like we're running out of days. Uh, I'm not even sure what I would do with my Sundays anymore. Uh, not looking forward to the season being over, but um, we no one is mathematically eliminated. I'll say that. Jamie had a chance to really put the dagger in. He had 8 picks last week. He went 0-8, and then Stone and I each added a pick. He lost a pick, so um, we're kind of in a good position where even though Jamie's winning with 56 wins, Stone's in second with 42 wins, and I'm in third with 30. Um, if we could get within striking distance, hit some of our futures, you never know. You never know. We got 3 weeks left, so uh, I'll pass it over to Jamie. He's still leading the league for his opening remarks, and then
Yeah, I mean, like Connor said, I went 0 for 8. I'm limping into the playoffs here. Uh, I think deserves a special something for this week. So
That's
thank
awesome.
you. That's awesome.
terrible. It's that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing needs to
Stone,
be end.
Stone, did you have anything to add?
Uh, I'm not really. I think we're still not mathematically eliminated, but I don't think he's gonna go 0 and 8 or 0 and 7 again this week.
Yeah, I mean, if he added a couple more wins and we don't,
Even if
yeah,
like I go 6 and 0, which is not likely in itself, Jamie would have to go like very negative, lose more picks, and I would have to like keep going like
yeah,
undefeated each week. So I think it's probably pretty unlikely. It, I think Jamie can be declared the winner, even though he went 0 and 8 and lost a ton of units. Was positive on units coming into this week, and now
yeah,
he is at -5.
yeah. I'm not going to declare you the winner yet, Jamie, until it's mathematically solid. But I would agree with Stone. I think it's going to be it's well, I'm 26 behind. There's no way I can get there. Uh, But I think that these next 3 weeks, whenever it kind of gets played out, these should be the weeks where there's the most sniped picks. Like, especially with the games today, like, there's not that many that count. And then the next week and the next week in the playoffs, there's not that many either. So it's like, we should see if we can build up some picks and snipe some picks, might put them in a bad place. But that's that.
Put the
Um, was that Jamie?
put the pressure on me.
Yeah, at least try to put the pressure on. So with that, um, we'll do game picks first. We got Stone will have 4 picks. I will have 2 picks, and Jamie will also have 2 picks. All right, and so with that, I'll click over here.
All right, going into my first game pick, I feel like I've had bouncing between 3 and 4 picks on the game picks all season, but I'm 24 and 30, which is not great. I just have been I have 4 picks and then I like go 1 and 3 and then I bounce back with like 2 and 1 the next week. So I've kind of been on a downtrend even though I've had the most picks for most of the season. But it's a new week, some new picks. I'm coming back to one of my favorites all season.
Mhm.
Houston versus Indianapolis over 47.5 points at -110. The Colts have only hit the under on 5 of their games this season. Um, their offense has been making plays. Their defense has been giving up points. 47.5 doesn't scare me, especially in a not necessarily a win and in, but a win and you have a chance to get in. A loss and you're eliminated. So I think it's going to be a shootout between the Texans and the Colts, and I just love the Colts overs.
Yep, I had this on my board. Had I known you were going first, I would have elevated that. That's your pick of the year right there. The recurring
Oh yeah.
Indianapolis Colts over. I think I'm going to take an over as well. Another game that I'm expecting. There are people playing for their careers, and there's people playing for the playoffs. So I'm going to do Chicago versus Green Bay, and that's over 45 at tab -110. Um, I still think that Justin Fields kind of needs to prove that he is the guy, and they're going to put him out there. They would love nothing more than to knock the Green Bay Packers out of the playoffs and the season on a high note. Um, and the Packers, they have to win to make the playoffs. They also have been scoring a lot of points. They've been giving up a lot of points. Um, so I expect to see this at least be a fun one to watch. And 45 does not exactly scare me because I think that towards the end of the game, things can become unhinged there. So that's where I'm going with that one.
I think with Washington fans, you should root for a just dominant Justin Fields game. The Bears somewhat crazily decide not to take the number one pick QB, and it falls to Washington number 2. That would be a miracle. So Caleb Williams on the line if Justin Fields can play well and the Bears goes into another year.
I think
Yeah.
I think they're trading down for sure. I think if they
Yeah.
keep Fields, I think they're trading down to someone, and somebody's
I
going to give up a
just
whole lot.
I think that they would have to find somebody. I just don't think this is the draft to move up because if you don't get Caleb Williams, what do you got? JT Daniels, Drake May, Bo Nix,
Who
Penix. You
think
could you, you
like the guy who's dominating the playoff? Penix, man, that should be number 2
yeah.
pick.
Well, he just he's not. Just to say he's not up there on the boards right now. But you have like 6 like really good quarterbacks. I don't know that you'd have to move up in this draft to actually get what you want, but
I
that's what I
mean,
think is a limiting factor for Chicago.
going into the season, I think Caleb Williams was like way above everyone else, like viewed as
Yeah.
an NFL draft prospect. I think maybe some teams still think that way. I mean, the draft's still a few months away, so we'll see. They still
Hmm.
have to do the combine and all that, interviews and all that stuff. But it could be like, I don't know, an Andrew Luck scenario where somebody trades up and goes and gets him.
Yeah, I agree, but I just I think there's so many out there. I think you'd be better off
Well, I think it's
just waiting
more
it
like,
out.
especially if they announce Fields as their guy, like they know that that
Yeah.
pick's up for grabs, and then I think teams will be they'll kind of be in a position where they can like do like a draft war, like a price
A bidding war.
a bidding war. Yep, I was trying to find the
Yeah.
words. Thank you. A bidding
And
war
get
against teams to like try and like, if you really want them, like how much are you willing to give us? Which I
There's
think
a
for them it would be a great scenario.
there's some weird articles and weird stuff like saying that Caleb Williams doesn't want to play for the Bears. That he's like trying. Yeah. Anyway, I digress.
Eli,
Uh,
couple QBs have done that, but yeah,
yeah.
we'll get to that maybe at the
Yeah.
end.
We'll get back into that later. Maybe
Uh,
they'll be around.
for my first pick, I'm going to go with the team that has everything to play for and a team that technically doesn't have anything to play for. I'm going to take Tampa Bay -4.5 at -108. So Tampa Bay could win the NFC South if they win. Carolina technically doesn't have anything to play for, but they don't have that number 1 pick that we just talked about. So, losing or winning here doesn't really matter. They don't need the tank. So it's really your young guys and seeing who wins. But I think, for the care factor, Tampa Bay has to go take care of business. I think they go in and I think they do it.
Yeah, I had this pick next on my list. I like it. I think if Tampa Bay does lose and the Saints win, I think the Saints win the division. So I think there
Yeah.
is something to play for sure. And I think 4.5 is like a really small line against the worst team in the NFL. All
Yeah.
right.
Also, very very strange story about the owner throwing his drink on a fan. Like, I'm not sure. That's just strange. Maybe the new worst owner now that Dan Snyder's gone. But yeah, go ahead, Stone.
All right. Since my last pick got sniped, I'm gonna go with my number 3, another team fighting for the playoffs, Houston -2 at -110. This game's today, so they won't even know until tomorrow if they make the playoffs, even if they win. But I think CJ Stroud has looked good all season. I think it's at home. It's not at home. They're not at home and they're still favored -2. I think Houston's a better team. Their new coach has really turned things around down there, and I think a win here really solidifies them, even if they don't make the playoffs for the future and for next season.
The double pick.
Well, that is a terrific segue because I'm taking Indianapolis
Oh man.
+2 at. See, I got that -110. I was going to take a money line a minute ago until Stone went up there and just laid the 2 for Houston. So now I'll take the 2. Home dog, right? Home dog. I think people are going to show up. I think the stadium's going to be rocking. Would I rather see Stroud in the playoffs over Minshew? Yes, but do I think that the Colts have overcame a lot this year, showed a lot of resilience, played really well? Yes, I think that I'll take the 2 for a team at home to go into the playoffs that can score points and has been playing well all season. Playoffs on the line, head to head, me versus Stone. There we go. There's a matchup.
Matchup last week of the season. Getting spicy. I like it. For my final pick, and maybe I should be, changing it up because my terrible. But I'm going to take Detroit -3.5 versus Minnesota at -108. Detroit has an outside chance at the number 2 seed in the NFC, so they do have something to play for. Minnesota's fighting for their playoff position, but they're on their 3rd QB, 4th QB, 5th QB, whatever QB you want to call it. And I think last time they played, the only reason it was close is because Justin Jefferson had a couple miraculous catches. I think coach came out and said that's not the way they drew up the defense. So I kind of think Justin Jefferson might be getting double teamed a lot today, and I don't think the rest of the team has got it.
All right, back to me.
Yep. So this is where you can add some wins there.
All right,
No
so
one
I
else can
have
touch
this
you.
next one ready. I'm gonna have to look up another one real quick, but this next one,
Okay.
it kind of lines up with my futures at the start of the year, with Buffalo winning the division. I'm taking Buffalo -2.5 at -122. It's in Miami. I've got 2 road teams that are favored, which kind of scares me a little bit. But I think Buffalo's been on a good streak. They have a lot to play for, and I think they've been on a roll. Miami just got the brakes beaten off them by Baltimore, and I think Buffalo has a chance to take the division and win me this line this week and my futures bet.
Ooh, I like it. You
Real,
had. Go
my
ahead, Jamie.
I had the Jets, so I think that one can officially die.
Yeah, I was gonna say I looked at some of the futures. I added some. I didn't add them to the databases yet. Um, of all of ours, Stones still had a lot of them that could be in play.
I
Like
think
I
some are
couldn't
like
rule them out
definitely
one
out.
way or the other. Some of them are a little out, but like a good game here and there for a couple players, or like a win here or there. Uh, yeah. Anyway, I just some of ours we could rule out. Yours was still like up in the air a little bit, which is kind of fun. But
Okay,
all right,
well,
final pick for
speaking
me.
about this, I might
Yeah.
as well throw in another one, even though this one's a long shot. Saints -3 at -105 at home against the Falcons. If the Saints win and the Buccaneers lose, which I don't expect to happen, but the Saints are still playing for something, um, might as well throw it up there if Carolina does something crazy. I can win this and win that futures bet as well. So,
There you go.
Just
I actually
stacking them up.
I have this one on my board, but for a completely different reason. Just fade the Falcons. That's how I was
true.
going off Connor vibes. I was
Yeah.
going to be pick. One got signed. Just don't take the Falcons.
The Falcons have been weird. So whenever I bet for the Falcons, I lose, but then I bet against the Falcons and then they win. So it's like I've been trying to avoid Falcons games, but
Yeah, I feel like if we did everything the opposite for the Falcons all season, we'd be winning a
yeah.
lot.
But I've been
Yeah.
like kind of like flip-flopping where like, okay, this week I think they'll do good. They should do good. They're set up to do good this week. And then they just like fall on their face. I'm like, okay, never betting on the Falcons again. And I bet against them and then they like have their best game in weeks. And it's whatever.
Yeah. So, Jamie, did you have any honorable mention on this side of the ticket?
Nope.
I
Nope.
had one. I had one left. It would have been my third, and I normally don't go this direction, which is why I didn't put it in my top two. But I had the Baltimore Pittsburgh under 35 minus 115 today. I just think that the Ravens are just going to run the ball all over the place. Yeah, and take time off the clock. I think Pittsburgh, even though their offense has been better, I don't see. I've really, Baltimore sitting a lot of their players, so I would expect this to just be, um, maybe Pittsburgh gets 17, 20 points, Baltimore gets 7, does the whole lot of nothing, and then I'd roll it out under 35. But yeah, anyway. Let's go back. Let's switch over to the game picks. So let me see here. I didn't write it down when I was there. So for this, I will go first with 3, and then Stone will go second with
3
2,
or just 2, yeah.
and then Jamie will have 5 this week. Okay, so there we go. Week 18. And so the first one that I'm going to go in a little bit of a strange direction for, I'm going to take Baker Mayfield over 1.5 TDs, and that is at plus 115. I agree with what I believe it was Jamie was saying. I think that they have to win a division, and they're going to go in there and they're going to beat the worst team in the league, and they're going to add a bunch of stats to their numbers. Have a really good feel-good game leading into the playoffs. And 1.5 touchdowns isn't overwhelming. Bad game last week. Fix it for the playoffs. Move forward. Baker Mayfield over 1.5.
Yeah, my only fear here is I like it. I was looking at Mike Evans' line, not to steal Stones, but my only that they get up fast. Maybe TD, Richard gets another TD, and then third quarter and fourth quarter they just bleed it out and they don't really try to go for
Yeah,
real
you better hope that Mayfield throws the first touchdown and it's not Rashad White or a defensive touchdown of some kind. Otherwise, like, it could get out of hand pretty quick.
Yeah, this could certainly be a first half or nothing bet right here for sure. But
value to
yeah.
All
right, Stone.
I'm gonna be going in a certain direction this week. And
Okay.
it's gonna be related to contract incentives. A lot of players out there are fighting for extra contract incentives. They're trying to get some more money. And my first one, so DeAndre Hopkins needs 49 receiving yards for $1 million and 7 receptions for $250K. His line's at 64.5 receiving yards. I think he's going to get the 49 pretty easy, but I'm expecting him to go over that. He's going to try and get 7 catches as well, and this line's at minus 115. He's going to be in the huddle every time. He's going to be, I think it's Will Levis or Ryan Tannehill, whatever. He's going to be like, come on, man, just throw me the ball. Give me the ball. Give me $1 million. I'll give you some of the million, bro.
Yeah, I'll split it with you.
They have nothing else to fight for. Might as well just give them some money.
This feels like a first half hammer Hopkins with the ball, bench him for the second half kind of situation.
I don't think they would. I don't think they're gonna bench him.
Hit the. My worry is that he hits the number for the million and then they take him out and he never gets to 64.
Well, so they got the million and then they got the catches too. So he needs 7
they got the catches too.
As well. So
That's
7
right.
catches is another reason I went for this is that he's gonna get more opportunities.
The third one too. I think I was looking at the same stats, but there's a third DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh, yep.
Plays 75% of the snaps on the season. He gets an extra $250K. He's sitting at 72%.
Oh shit!
So he could play the whole game just to get up to 75%.
Yep. And I think if he gets 2 touchdowns, he gets another incentive, but that one's a little crazy.
Yeah, if I was on my computer, I would share the screen of all the incentives that people are going for, but my computer doesn't have mic. Anyways, Stone sniped that one. I definitely. For my next one, I'm segue back to the Miami Buffalo game. Like Buffalo, I don't so much. I'm going to take Josh Allen's over on the interceptions. It's 0.5, so just one interception at minus 135. A lot of chalk, but he has 16 interceptions in 16 games. The Finns have 10 touchdowns since Ramsey returned in week 8, which is 8 games. So it feels like feeding right into it. And, Josh Allen's always good for a turnover. If it wasn't for Sam Howell, he would be leading the league in interceptions.
I like that one. So the next one I'm going to go with kind of maybe not exactly what anyone is expecting here. I just saw this number. I thought it was low based off of this player's capabilities and the fact that I do think, like Stone said, this game was going to be high scoring. I have Devin Singletary, and that is to go over 13.5 receiving yards at minus 115. I think that this is going to be a hard-fought game. I'm very much looking forward to watching it. I think it's going to be one of the best games of the weekend. 13.5 does not scare me. You'll see some running backs in that same situation get 19.5, 20, 21.5 on the line. I'll just caveat that by saying he did not get a reception last week, but the 3 previous weeks he did go over that number. So, I'm just going to put that one right there.
Tell you how you phrase that, Connor. Don't say he didn't do it last week. Say 3 out of the last 4 weeks he's
Yeah.
Okay, we need to work on the skills.
You might not have. So this is kind of leading into my next pick. You might not have known this, but Devin Singletary needs 73 scrimmage yards for a 250K incentive, and his line is at 79.5 scrimmage yards for this week, and that's what I'm gonna be taking at minus 115.
So
if that is okay, if that is blessed by you to take kind of a similar line, but
we've done rushing and receiving combined before. Is that not what?
No, I mean like he took the receiving, so I don't know if I'm allowed to like take the combined like that, but
I don't really have an issue with that.
I think they're different bets.
I think they're different.
Yeah.
All right. So what was the total number?
79.5. He needs 73 to hit his 250K incentive, and I think he's gonna hit it. He also needs 165 rushing yards to hit another incentive. I don't think that will happen, but who knows? He might be going for it. He hit 150 rushing yards early in the season against the Bengals. So it's within the realm of possibilities. If he's even close, the coaches might just be like, "There you go, get some money." But yeah,
I like it. All right, Jamie, you're up.
I am going to go with. I'm going to go with Dax under 274.5 passing yards at minus 115. I know this group does not under, but I think talk about stuff to play for. The Washington Commanders should actively be trying to lose this game any way possible. I think Dallas gets up fairly easily. I mean, our pass defense is horrible, but they get up, and it's the same way we've talked about the other teams. Tampa Bay, get up, run the ball, get out of there healthy. There's no need to really go crazy here. So I think, he has a moderate game, but I mean, 270, I feel like is a lot. Maybe not for Dak, but across the league, 270 is pretty high for this year. So
that's a ton, especially for a team that didn't they already secure everything for the season? That's insane.
They might be the number 2 pick.
I think if
Detroit,
if they lose and the Eagles win, they can lose the division or something weird. I don't know.
Yeah, so I think they definitely have to win just to make sure everything's kosher. So we'll see. I mean, I just hope they get up by 24 in the first half and they just bench everybody.
That's what they should do. So I'm looking this one up because I want to take this one so bad. It might have to become an honorable mention. We haven't had this issue yet this season because no one would be dumb enough to pick a player that might not play for their picks.
Wouldn't it just be void?
Yeah, but then you kind of lose a chance to get a win. You could pick any player.
You don't
What's
count
up?
as you don't get anything. So
Yeah, I don't get anything. Uh,
what,
I still think I'm going to take it. I just think this number is crazy low. I'm going to take Christian Watson over 31 and a half receiving at minus 115. Oh, I put that in Jamie's category. Hang on. He's gone over this number every game he's played. Uh, I, I, yeah, I'm having a hard. I wish it was guaranteed to play. I think he practiced twice this week and then had a day off. He's still listed as questionable. They need this game to win. I expect things to kind of be popping off. It worries me that, yeah, I'm kind of concerned that he's not going to play, but I'm not afraid of that number at 31 and a half. Seems pretty low for his quality of player. All right, so then Skip Stone, he's done. I'm done. Jamie, you get 3 picks in a row here.
sounds good. I mean, I would say Christian Watson. Those are two teams fighting for playoffs. So even if you're somewhat injured, you got to play. If
Yeah.
there's stuff you can do. Get in.
So the other thing is, like, I've been looking at this line all week because I knew that's a game I have the over on. I'm just thinking, and he's practiced. The line originally came out at 36 and a half. It's now down to 31 and a half, which then just scares me. Oh, well, they don't think he's going to play, but he's got to get out there. You're right. Anyway, 3 picks for Jamie.
So my next one, talk about a guy we've talked about before, is Justin Fields over on his rushing yards, 55.5 rushing yards at minus 115. He's averaged 65 and a half over the last 6 games. I mentioned this stat last week too about Jaron Hall, is that Green Bay has given up the 4th most rushing yards to QBs. That changes, and in a very tight game, that means everything. You're going to try your hardest. I think he's going to be scrambling. I think he's going to be doing his thing. Last year, he did the same thing down the stretch, started running more, started looking more explosive. So I expect him to do that this year in this final game. Let's see here. And then I'm going to talk about, against your Baker Mayfield, I'm going to go with Rashad White. Back to my running backs. Over 70.5 rushing yards. Carolina is 23rd against the run. I think that, it goes back to the same thing, though. If he doesn't get a bunch of yards in the first half, they might put in, any other running back just to give him a blow. He doesn't need to play the whole game. He needs to be healthy the rest of the for the playoffs. So I'm a little worried about that one, but, he was hot until last week. I think he jumps back on the horse. What do I have? 4. So for one, I'm gonna go with I hate Steelers, but I'm gonna go with George Pickens at over 46.5 receiving yards. That's at minus 115. You touch space. Ravens should be resting a lot of people. If not, they're gonna only be playing a quarter, maybe 2. And Pickens has been looking good. He can get that 46 yards on one catch realistically. So I think he does.
I like it. Stone, did you have any honorable mentions that had on
There
your
was a
card?
couple ones that I was a little sketched out by just because they might be resting him. But Jadeveon Clowney, he needs a half sack for 750,000. But the Ravens might just be resting everyone. It might be a scenario where the coaches know he needs a half sack. They might throw him out there. But I don't even think the line was up there just because it's such a weird. They don't. I think Vegas doesn't like the games where they're resting a lot of starters, so it's probably not even out there. But
There was a couple of games where I looked where there was, the skill players were not even on bet.
yeah, I think the games where there's like nothing to play for, where like they're resting starters, I think a lot of those were not. They didn't have any lines, so.
Go ahead.
Uh,
No, go ahead.
I
Take it something else.
Yeah. Jahmyr Gibbs, his over is at 55.5. He needs 85 for 1,000 win the season.
Hmm.
That was another one I was looking at.
Did you have for the futures? Was that rushing and receiving?
Yeah, it was his
For
total.
Gibbs? Okay,
Yep.
sweet. The only other one I had was Minshew over 1.5 touchdowns. That's at plus 130. I like the plus numbers there for the quarterbacks to get 2 touchdowns, and for a game we think is going to go over and should be competitive. Yeah, 2 touchdowns. That doesn't seem unreasonable.
Yeah, another one for that game, actually, another incentive. Dalton Schultz needs 4 catches for his incentive, and his line's at 4.5. And I think Tank Dell is down. Stroud needs someone to throw to, and he's been throwing to Schultz all season. So I think 4.5 is very reasonable, or five catches is reasonable, especially when his incentive's at 4. So that's another one I liked as well.
I like that one. All right, so I'm going to take us now over to the touchdown parlay. We had 1 out of 3 legs last week. We are down to our last half unit here on this, kind of like sputtering into the playoffs. Got to hit it to go positive for the season in the next 3 weeks. All right, so bring your best picks. Who wants to get us started?
I gotta look at this
Yeah,
thing.
I gotta look at it.
Oh, you want me to?
No.
Can you
gotta
quick search for me?
Yeah, who do you want?
Is Amon-Ra in there? I think he is. St. Brown.
No way. That one would stand out. Yeah, there's no way.
All right, well then that's what I'm taking.
Yeah, there's still a lot of guys on here that we don't even realize.
Yeah.
Amon-Ra St. Brown. He is at plus 125.
Love it.
Like it. I don't think he's
Did
on
you-
here, but for mine, can you search Nico Collins? I
He's
don't
not
think he's
on here.
there.
Yeah.
His is
Collins.
at plus 125 as well.
Ooh, this is going to be a good one for us. Okay, because let me just double check, make sure it didn't move too much. I got Jaden Reed plus 150.
That dude might not play, so.
What do you mean he may not play?
He went out of the game injured, I thought.
It's just me and you instead.
All right,
Jordan.
hold on. Now he's been
I'm pretty sure he
balling
went out
out.
of the game injured. He might play, but
Someone look on the list. Oh, Devin Singletary's already picked. Oh, you really put me on the spot here.
Jonathan Taylor I don't think he's on the list.
It says he practiced this week.
Yeah, so he's probably fine.
All right, I'm going it. I don't have anything else in the bag right now. Plus 150. He's been playing fine. 1,100 on that. That'll be the highest one we hit. Yeah, should be a good couple games, couple big games this week. Anybody have? What's up?
He has 3 touchdowns the last 2 weeks. So
Yeah, he's been balling out. He should be out there catching touchdowns. So, anybody have anything else they want to add before we close it out for the week?
I mean, I also looked at Najee and Pickens, just because, like I said, the Steelers have everything to try for. The Ravens don't have anything, so might be low scoring. The Pittsburgh's going to be throwing everything at the wall.
Yeah, but I just don't think Baltimore is gonna ever score.
That's fair. Yeah.
I think it's Huntley, right? I think Huntley can get some offensive plays out there. You got
That
Huntley.
Right.
They might give Dalvin Cook the ball. Dalvin Cook might be trying to show off a little bit. I don't know. Oh, I think OBJ has a bunch of incentives he needs to hit too.
OBJ needs like 100 yards here.
I think he needs like 5 catches though. So like 5 catches.
They already ruled him out though, I think.
They did?
OBJ,
Yeah.
he needs 5 catches for 250K, 185 yards for 750K, and 2 touchdowns for 500K.
I mean, they can give him the 5 catches, 5 bubble screens real quick.
That's true. Jordan Love gets 500K.
Yeah.
Green Bay makes the playoffs. Geno gets $2 million if the Seattle makes the playoffs.
OBJ is out officially.
Okay.
Levante David and Chris Jones need half a sack.
I looked for David's line and he wasn't on there, which is really annoying. But
You guys went deep this week.
oh, I was looking at it too. For sure.
All right. Well, with that, thanks everyone for joining us this week. We will be back. We got 2 more weeks left. And gamble responsibly. Have a nice 2024, the new year. Just
Oh yeah, happy New Year, guys.
Yep. All right. See you guys.